What I loved about this, first of all, it was short. I loved it. That made it even better because it was so short. I loved it. But man, them lyrics. eh, But you know what got me was that take a bite. I was like, hey, oh,
This
look
is
at you.
poetry. This is I love it when artists show their poetry. This is
Yeah.
poetry. This is a song, but it's short, like not to say all poetry is short, but it's
Mhm.
similarly short, like some short poems you would read.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
No, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. I turn my the power of power. He said, "Yeah, this is the power of power. The power of power. I used to wonder what would happen if I would. Oh, okay.
I want to give you more. I'm sorry.
Okay. What
I don't
happened?
mean to throw you off when I do that.
I know, cause I'm expanding the picture by my fingers, so I can see it. So when you scroll, I lose the whole thing. But that's okay. I know you're doing it. We can adjust. He said, I used to wonder what would happen if I went all in for me. I felt so gifted and so talented, it's hard to serve a king. But all those years I spent in waiting where were to prepare me for the call. Without the spirit, I wouldn't have a gift at all. Come on now. I wouldn't have a platform to stand on without the cross that was hanged on. No influence to be boasting in if I wasn't drawn close to him. Put it on my chest. It's a movement for the people. Forgive me for the times I felt that pride and turned to evil. Human nature says do your best to impress him. Most High says do your best that represents him. The draw of recognition and finally feeling seen was attempted into corruption what it means to serve the king. Come on. So take a bite. Okay, let me go back down. So take a bite and you can finally take all the credit for yourself. Now what is he telling me to take a bite of, baby?
The apple. Not the apple, the
It's
fruit.
the fruit, the
The
fruit,
world got
and
me.
this is the temptation. You can do this on your own, even though we cannot. Even though, excuse me, good Lord, I need that. I need
Mama,
that to
you
go,
drink some
Jesus.
water? Some tea?
It's not that, baby. It's just that cough that's hanging on. So the bottom line is that he's saying that you've got to understand the thing about when you're walking in your gift. When you finally get to the place where your gift takes you before mighty men, in that place is a lot of temptation. In that place, in that space, why do you think God has to refine you before you get there? Why do you think you've got to go through so much to get there? Because if God allowed you to be a shooting star, that's all you would ever be. You would shoot up and fall back down before you know it. You know why? Because pride will enter in. And the moment pride enters in, what happens? It says in the word of God that God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. You'll find yourself at enmity with God Himself being prideful. And so he's saying, I get into these very positions just because of you, just because of what you've done. This platform is all because of you. But then I get to where I'm seeing, and all of a sudden these temptations of evil come, and now he asking me, take a bite. What is it? He said, see that the good fruit is good to eat. Even though God has given you all this other fruit, see this fruit is good to eat yourself. Take it for yourself. And what is he saying? You can finally take all the credit for yourself, all the accolades, the women, and the wealth. So take a bite. Number two, I refuse. I'm nothing without him. And this is his response. I refuse. I'm nothing without him. I'm the vessel. I'm a vessel. He's a source. So take a bite. And you can finally, this is again the enemy tempting him, you can finally take all the credit for yourself, all the accolades, the women, the wealth, to take a bite. I refuse. I'm nothing without it. I'm the vessel. He's the source. And that's the power, right? So I think I I felt this because I felt that hook. So take a bite. I felt that hook, but really what gets me is that we go through this over and over, right? Like when Jesus went through the temptation in the wilderness, that wasn't the last he saw of the enemy. In fact, according to Matthew, the word of God says the enemy went away to wait for a more appropriate time. The next time we see him, it's his friend It's his follower. It's one of his closest companions telling him, "Hey man, you can't be going around telling everybody that you finna be dying for them. You the Messiah, you the king. You supposed to beat Rome. You can't be telling people that you gonna die. That's going against us telling them that you the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? You need to back all that up and calm all that talk down." And Jesus looked him right in the face and said, "Get thee behind me, Satan, for you're mindful of the things of man and not of God." Who did we see using his best friend, one of his best friends, one of his most trusted followers, to talk to him? Satan himself. Satan, Hasatan, the accuser, was there using one of the closest people to him, right? So you're going to see that repeat of the enemy throughout your life. He wants you to take a bite. He wants you to take it for yourself. He wants you to ask the question or believe the lie that somehow God is holding out on you. That even though God gave you all these other trees to eat from, it's that tree that's special. And for some reason, God is keeping you from that tree. He's holding out on you. Then why would he have created you in the beginning anyway? What was the point of that? Why would you be a created being of a most benevolent and a very intelligent God for him to only say, but you can't have this because it's better for me and it's not good for you at all? I'm holding out on you, even though I've provided everything for you, right? So that's that
Hmm.
laundry detergent. It's that laundry detergent again. Just because it's here doesn't mean you can have it. Just because you're here doesn't mean it won't kill you, right? It
Right.
has its purpose. It has its purpose. Now, here's the thing: the tree of knowledge of good and evil was not a bad tree. It was not bad. God didn't say that's a horrible tree. You can't eat from it. No. What did God say? The day that you choose to live autonomously apart from me, to try to discern good and evil without me, to be independent of me, and think that you can make all the right choices and decisions without consulting me, the day you decide to eat of that, you shall surely die. Mickey, here's a question. What does the world look like now since somebody ate from that tree?
Yeah. It was really bad for a minute. God had to flood it.
And then we started over, and it's still getting bad, ain't
Uh,
it?
we
Do
don't
we
have
see?
half demon children running around, so it's
Well, but it's still not great, and you don't know that. You only know what you see.
oof.
Oof. Right? It's this world is still an evil place with a lot of Babylon systems in play. It is because all these systems want to make decisions autonomously from God. And the ultimate end to that is always ruin. That is why every dynasty falls. That is why Rome fell. That is why Babylon fell. That is why Persia fell. All of these great kingdoms, all of these things that grew, right? They fall eventually. They continue to fall. So I love power. I think that was cool. Next song.